ReefDudes is sponsored by Ecotech Marine and Bulk Reef Supply.
The final update, at least for now, in the tank in its current state. Let's get to it. What's going on, guys? Devin from ReefDudes. So I know I've been talking a while, the tank is coming down for a bit. I'm redoing floorings. It is currently chaos in here. I spent most of last night ripping up carpet and our little island of stuff we're sorting through. It's been kind of ripped out everywhere. And started doing the stairs. This sucked. There's like 10,000 staples in there. But before we fully get to the chaos, I figured this would be a good time for one last final tank update just to kind of capture its current state before I get to the chaos. I also got to rip out this tile. That's going to suck. Very painful to chisel. I have an air chisel I'm going to try later and we'll see how that goes. But of course, this is a fish tank channel, not a reno channel, even though you're getting little bits of everything snuck into it. So I figured, you know, the Waterbox's current glorious state before I start hacking and slashing and ripping stuff apart. You know, definitely love this tank. It's been 4 to 5 years. It's been up and running. And, you know, it'll be back, but it's going to change a bit, obviously. You know, there's going to be a lot of coral hacking and slashing and toning stuff down a bit. You know, but it'll be probably somewhat similar-ish. Like, I do love this structure and that. You know, I'm going to rebuild that end structure. You know, I'm probably going to break off a ton of these corals and tone stuff way back just because how much stuff is kind of ominously taking over in the tank. But the tank is looking phenomenal, so I did want to kind of capture it in a little bit in kind of its current state. It'll be fun to look back to later and see how things change, how things progress. And yeah, it's at that point where, you know, stuff is growing into each other, which looks amazing. I love that natural look. But it also, you know, coral warfare is always a trade-off. And one of my favorite views is always looking down the peninsula into the tank. I love that. I think when I build a new structure, maybe I'll do more torches on this end, but I'll probably do something lower so you get more of the tiered effect. It was originally like that, but as stuff grows, it kind of slowly diminished that look of it. And yeah, super cool, worldwide corals. Vic came and shot a video with it, so he published that a couple weeks ago. I thought that was super cool. This is another good one to kind of capture in its current state, since it's largely similar to what it's looking like today. I don't actually show this view off very often, but I also did remove the banister and I set it as a peninsula. So when you walk up the stairs, it's like a really cool view as you come in and walk upstairs. So removing the banister and making it a peninsula tank, I think is like a really cool way to do it. So if you guys ever do want to inspiration, hopefully for some, you know, a little more of an effort to spread eagle on the side to clean the glass and do a few tweaks, but otherwise it's a really cool solution for a peninsula tank. And so where is it all going to go? Well, here's my transitional tank. I picked up a 150 gallon little giant trough tank and I built just a quick 2x4 stand. We got 2 XR30s on it, and this should be enough to kind of keep things happy enough in the transition time. So hopefully I won't be living in here too long, you know, maybe it'll be like a week or two, we'll see how that goes. But I think it should work as kind of a temporary tank. And just before I started recording, I just started filling this, so we'll get this full of water, heated, start mixing some salt water. I'll probably do about 50 to 70% new water, then I'll reuse the rest of the current tank water for that. Don't want to shock the tanks too much of going from crazy high nutrients to pristine brand new water. And then will become the fun of doing copious amounts of new flooring. So it'll look pretty sweet when it's done, but so much work. Almost gonna have to start a reno channel on the side. But the one really cool thing about this is being able to redo it is I can change stuff and run a couple more lines down through the wall. You know, I might hook up the Toonsy ATO on this one later, so I'm gonna run down their extension cord and a few other things when I got the tank out of the place and kind of snake it through the wall down to the laundry area. I also might do some other cool stuff, like in the stand where the calcium reactor and stuff is. I might build a little tray out of acrylic or something to go inside. So if there ever is a leak, it's kind of contained. I put leak sensors in there and, you know, make sure there's no risk of anything leaking onto the new floor. So I got a few different ideas and just stuff that I do to like tweak and make it better when I get the tank rebuilt in there. And when I say new tank, I actually do mean new tank, which is funny because it's pretty much the same tank, but we did get the new version, which is basically the same with some minor upgrades. The extruded aluminum stand, so be, you know, back to scratch-free pristineness. I have a buddy that's been after mine for a while, so I'll give him my tank and we'll get the new one in. So yeah, pretty stoked for that. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit excited to have it just like perfect, pristine again. You know, everything's nice and fresh. And I'm kind of excited for the extruded aluminum stand. because extruded aluminum is like big kid Lego, so I can just like bolt on and 3D print brackets and like make my own mounts and kind of build it out, which I think is going to be really cool. And I don't even think they sell my version anymore. It's been replaced with this one since I had the original one, so at least some of the cool stuff I build will be relevant to what people are actually getting now. And more flooring, story of my life for the next few weeks. And yeah, she's definitely been a beautiful, wonderful tank. Absolutely love this tank. And, you know, replacing more or less same. It does feel slightly crazy, but at the same time, I'm moving it. I have to get rid of this one out of the space for a while, so it actually worked out really well. And it's oddly fun because it's kind of like a little mini do-over where I can tweak and change things over time. So that part I think is going to be really fun. You know, I know what I love about it. I know little things I would tweak, you know, little ideas to improve things. So that's going to be part of the rebuilding journey, which I think will be a lot of fun. So hopefully all goes well during this journey. Hopefully there's no losses or casualties, you know, moving stuff in and out. I kind of hate to upset the balance of the tank because it looks so amazing right now. So hopefully everything is happy enough and survives this transition and gets rebuilt into the newer, you know, better version of, you know, similar tank to what I have now. But yeah, it's gonna be really cool. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the update of my current state of chaos. As always, if you did, be sure that like button. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. If you got any questions, suggestions, tips for moving tile, let me know and I will catch you guys on the next video. Cheers.